gonna make it.
Good job there, Kurt.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, one of the other refinements to vertical jigging is the rods and reels, and in particular the line that you use. You're gonna need a nice lightweight graphite rod. These are 6.5 foot medium light Okuma Deadeyes. It was a rod designed specifically for vertical jigging. And it's an IM8 rod, so it's a very high quality graphite rod. Light and super sensitive. That's going to be important because you're going to be holding these rods all day. You don't want a heavy rod. And I've got it loaded with a 20 size reel here. And then on the reel is a very important piece of equipment. We've got braided fishing line. The super braid that's on here is Vicious braid. It's 10-pound test, but it's only 2-pound diameter. So that thin line allows me to stay vertical a little easier. And then also, because the line has no stretch in it, you have a better sense of feel or sensitivity. You detect many more bites with braided line than if I was using monofilament or fluorocarbon. Now, I personally don't like to tie the braid directly to the jig. I would prefer to use a fluorocarbon leader. So what I've done is I've tied about 24 inches of 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader to my braid and then my jig to the fluorocarbon. So I've got a clear leader to the fish tying directly to the jig. A couple reasons for that. I think that the clear leader is harder for the fish to see, and I also think that if I do break off and I need to retie, it's easier and faster to retie a fluorocarbon leader than it is to retie braid. In order to tie braid, you have to cut it with the scissors, and the knots don't hold as good in braid either. So I just feel more comfortable having a fluorocarbon leader. So that's the basic setup: 6.5 foot medium light action rod, spinning reel, 10-pound test braid, and an 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader tied directly to the jig. The one thing we haven't talked about yet is the jig itself. Certain jigs are better than others for vertical jigging. Personally, I like a stand-up style jig that puts the hook upright so that you get a better hook set in the roof of the fish's mouth. Secondly, I'm looking for a long shank jig. What I mean by that is that I want that hook shank to be as long as possible. There are short shank and long shank jigs. Long shanks are better for vertical jigging because the hook point reaches further back and you're likely to get a better hook set. You're going to get that hook point further in the fish's mouth. So those are important things that I'm looking for. I'm also looking for a thin wire hook that penetrates easily. When you put all those things together, it's hard to find jigs that are ideally suited for vertical jigging. That's why I like the Oddball by Bait Rigs. It has all the features I'm looking for. It's a stand-up, has a long shank on it, and it has a thin wire hook that's easy to penetrate. Put all those things together, you got yourself an A1 vertical jigging jig.
Just.